So Joburg emergency services are on high alert after a flood warning was issued for parts of Gauteng due to persistent rain. Areas under threat of flooding include Johannesburg, Pretoria North and Krugersdorp. For more on the situation on the ground, let's bring in Newzroom Afrika's Katlego, who's monitoring the situation for us from Alexandra, more specifically along the Jukskei River. And Katlego, it's a conversation that happens year in, year out during the rainy season. Residents there being warned about not building their homes along the riverbanks. The difficulty, of course, is that those warnings appear to be falling on deaf ears. All right. It looks like our connection to Katlego has been interrupted there. We'll just get you a sense of what else is taking place in a moment. Katlego, if you are able to hear us, paint the situation for us at the Jukskei River as it stands. I mean, it's really concerning because residents there have been told several times not to build their homes there, but it appears that those warnings fall on deaf ears. All right, we're having a great time with some of our connections this afternoon. So let's try to get you a sense of what else you need to know about as we continue making sense of the flooding that we've seen in parts of Alexandra itself. As mentioned, it's a conversation that happens year in, year out. Residents in Alexandra, for as far as I can remember, have always been warned about the dangers of living along the banks of the Jukskei River. Officials in the past, to their credit, dare I say, have actually moved into that community in the past to try and ensure that it is cordoned off. However, what they're finding is that once community members are relocated to a different area, in some instances, they get a hold of even their relatives to try and live in that area. And what you end up having is communities like Alexandra being overpopulated because of that dynamic. The question then becomes, is there anybody watching this as it continues to develop and intervening at the right places? As soon as we're able to speak to Katlego, we'll get you a sense of what he's able to see from his vantage point. And Katlego, if you are able to hear us now, I mean, are people where you are responding to a warning of flooding, or is it business as usual?
Well, Ayanda, we're coming to you live from the Stretla informal settlement. This is in Alexandra. This is one of the most historic townships in South Africa. And of course, as you rightly stated there, it is an informal settlement that is prone to flooding incidents year in and year out. It is not different this year around as we enter 2022. We're entering 2022 with the South African Weather Services issuing an alert, for that persistent weather conditions that are expected to play out this weekend going into the coming week. And we know very well that the Jukskei River is one of the rivers that basically stretches all the way from Ellis Park going into the city of Johannesburg, touching a bit of the city of Ekurhuleni and just going all the way into Alex and then the Hartbeespoort Dam. And this Jukskei River is situated on the edge, or rather the informal settlement, that being the Stretla informal settlement, is situated on the edges of the Jukskei River. And this we know very well as well, Ayanda, that it is home to about at least 5,000 people. One of the country, or the province, if not the country, most densely populated areas. And we know very well that warnings have been issued, and just this past week, 2 families having to be relocated from here to another area just for safety reasons as the rains continue to play out around the province. I'm just going to ask my colleague, this being Kevin Marobela, to just pen with me as we show you the situation along the Jukskei River and the Stretla informal settlement. This is an informal settlement of about 5,000 people, and as you can see, some of them, it is business as usual. Ayanda, some some of them just more or less going on with their day-to-day activities, and we know very well that they have been warned to be on high alert this weekend, and with that family having been relocated, or those two families having been relocated, it remains to be seen as most of the people here are basically living on the edge as the rains continue to play out. We are going to be speaking to various officials or parties of interest here, this being community members, this being community leaders. We are going to be speaking to the Water and Sanitation, that is the Alexandra Water and Sanitation Forum that has been formed to just more or less do work around the Jukskei River and help communities like those of strata informal settlements that are living on the edges of the river to just take precaution and avoid polluting the river, because one of the concerns that have been raised, Ayanda, by community leaders here is that the river, it gets polluted, and when it's polluted and it rains and the water levels rise, we see that creating some sort of a disaster here. But those interesting parties, as we continue with our rolling coverage here at the Strata Informal Settlement, will be coming in to give us a sense of the work that they are doing on the ground and operations by the city of Johannesburg.
Hodi, thanks very much indeed for that update. Katlego was live to us there from Alexandra near the Strata Informal Settlement.